Hello Runeterrans and welcome back to the Fray. Right now we're gonna play some more ranked in Legends of Runeterra. And as you've probably seen on the title, we're going to use Jarvan again once more, but instead of playing him in a mono Demasha deck or Demasha with a splash of Shurima, which is pretty much what has been going around. And it's not been as popular as the other decks, but that's the standard for Jarvan decks right now. I've played that a couple of minutes, or actually a couple of hours earlier, and that didn't fare too well as I expected. So I've experimented and gotten quite some success earlier off stream. So let's see if we can replicate the same results by playing the Jarvan Shen deck in ranked platinum. I'm at exactly 0 LP platinum 3. So I was starting at platinum 4 earlier, got 5 wins straight, and then a couple of wins and losses there. So I'm back at platinum 3. So let's go ahead and try this out so you could check out how cool this deck is. So it's pretty much a Fiora Shen deck, with Fiora being replaced by Jarvan. I forgot to switch to my in-game screen. What a genius. Let's go to Legends of Runeterra here. There we go. So, you guys probably didn't miss too much. It's been a pretty straightforward couple of turns here. So I'm gonna develop this since he had used most of his resources or his mana. So as you see here, we're at 4-3. This card's effect: when it challenges an enemy for the first time, it transforms into Vanguard Cavalry. And it doesn't have a challenge. I pretty much gave the Tyrant Banner to him. Because of this, he's gonna transform into a fully healthy Vanguard Cavalry. And so we're gonna survive that attack, which is really, really great. Now we're gonna have a pretty good turn 5 here, and then I'm gonna make an open attack at turn 6. I pretty much used up my Notify, so I can't stop that anymore. But depending on what cards he'll play here... Okay, he doesn't have anything. We probably win already. We don't need to block that. We have probably won already.
All do our duty. Jarvan, thank goodness you're all right.
Steady yourself, Squire. There is fighting to do.
See? Jarvan, the king, has returned. Oh wait, that's Azir's. My bad.
Raise our banners.
That's a pretty good... That's a pretty good game. So okay, we're gonna go over the deck list real quickly here. So this is pretty much a modified Fiora Shen deck. So what I did is I splashed Jarvan. I of course replaced Fiora with Jarvan. I kept most of the Ionia core, especially Shen. River Shaper is a very key card here. The Grand Notify, and of course one of Deny. You could switch off or swap out Deny with Notify, or however you want to ratio them, but I find it more appealing to have 2 Notifies and 1 Deny, because usually there's only so much mana that you can spare, and Deny, you would probably reserve it for like bigger and nastier spells like a Ruination or a Harrowing or a Vengeance. So for smaller things, you probably want to Notify those, and it's better to have multiple copies of this, especially if you're facing the same deck that I have encountered during my first game on the stream, which is a Elise Kindred deck, which features the Parallel Convergence. Is that it? The 1 mana, you can choose your or you can choose to transform the units that you play into one of 3 same cost units. So that's a very powerful deck, especially if they get the effect off early, because they can potentially transform small units into chunkier units and still get the effect of the units that initially summoned. So being able to notify that is really big. You probably didn't see it on stream because I forgot to change my camera or my OBS into the in-game, but I was able to notify the first parallel convergence that he played. Is that parallel convergence? Let me just go ahead and take a look. 1 mana, show and own. No, I own that, I'm pretty sure. There we go. Concurrent timeline. So concurrent timelines, it's very important to negate that if you can, and Notify does a very good job in place of Deny, canceling that card. So I would suggest having 2 Notifies and 1 Deny, but depending on what decks you're encountering to a certain degree, you can swap out Deny with Notify, or probably get 3 Denies or 3 Notifies. It's very much up to you. But the rest of the cards here in the deck list are very crucial. As you can see, I have 3 Penitent Squire. Having a 1-drop isn't really that big of a deal. Your point of like controlling the board is around turn 3. That's why you also have only 5 units. I removed 1 Honored Lord. I used to have 3, but I found that he isn't as useful as I thought he would be, because first off, the initial release, I thought that he gets barrier every time he challenges a unit, but it's actually only the first time that he challenges a unit. So even if you get the challenger attached to him, he's only good for 1 attack. So if you, for example, have Sonic Wave, it's like just giving him a 2 mana barrier, right? 2 mana barrier and challenger. So he definitely benefits well from Sonic Wave. But if you have the Tattered Banner from Penitent Squire, you would probably want to hold off onto it instead of using it on Honored Lord, unless you really need to remove something from the board, because Permanent Challenger isn't as worth on him unless you have a Shen that you could use to protect him every time he attacks. You want your Permanent Challenger on Gallant Rider or something like Jarvan, or any of your big units, pretty much. Because Honored Lord is only good for 1 attack, and then you can just use him to, as a chump blocker. Bright Steel Protector, of course, a very good card all throughout, so we have him as a 3 of. Next is Single Combat, of course, a staple. That's your one of the few ways that you can interact with the opponent's board. Sonic Wave, as I mentioned, that's for giving your units challenger. Main targets is, of course, Gallant Rider and Honored Lord, but it's also a welcome addition if you want to attack with, like, River Shaper and you want to get rid of something. You could use the extra attack. And we have a 1-off of Grand Plaza. River Shaper is pretty much self-explanatory. It's been in every Fiora deck. It's your main draw power. And then we have the Grand Plaza, only 1-off of this card because it's pretty clunky if you have multiple in hand. And your opponent would pretty much not care if you have it on board. They're pretty much not going to try and remove it. I have played a lot of games wherein the opponent has a chance to remove it, but they just leave it on board because it's not as powerful as it had been before, given that it's been nerfed. And having 2 Grand Plazas on the board, on your side of the board, doesn't really benefit you that much because you just want the challenger. The +1 attack, it's just a bonus. You just want the challenger because you want to be able to interact with your opponent's board. So if you don't have Sonic Wave or anything, it's always a good thing to have the Grand Plaza before you develop the board. Next is Vanguard Redeemer. I initially didn't have this, but I found that draw power is a very key necessity for this deck. River Shaper's indeed a good draw engine, but you're gonna want to have some units, or you want to be able to specifically draw units in this deck. And since I didn't include Jarvan the third, because I instead put Bright Steel formation, you're gonna lack some of that. So at least one Vanguard Redeemer is good, but I decided to put two just for consistency's sake. And then next off is the one-off of Deny. Gallant Rider, really, really good card. I explained it while I was playing with it earlier. If you use this to chomp block something and it survives next turn, if you give it Challenger, it's gonna transform into a Vanguard Cavalry, and it's gonna transform into a full health Vanguard Cavalry. If your Gallant Rider has any boost, it will carry over to Vanguard Cavalry, which is very, very good because he's gonna have a full health and bonus attack if you have given Gallant Rider bonus attack at some point. Next is Riposte. Of course, a 3 of that. We want as much protection as we can get for this deck. And of course, the barrier to level up Shen. Concerted Strike, 2 of course. This is very, very good against decks that utilize barriers as well, because how this works, if you guys are not familiar, is if your opponent has barrier, because Concerted Strike have 2 attacks pretty much. If it resolves, 2 of your allies are going to strike the opponent once each. The first attack will get rid of the barrier, and the second one will actually strike the opponent. And if you have targeted it properly, because when you use this, you're going to target an opponent and then target 2 allies. The first ally that you target will be the first one to hit. The second one will be the second one to hit. And if your opponent has barrier, you want the smaller attack to attack first to pop the barrier. As long as you have one attack on that ally, the barrier will get popped, and then the second ally will then deal the damage. So you want that second ally to be the one with the larger attack. So always be mindful of that. It's gonna make or break a lot of games. Next is Swift Wing Lancer. Now, this is a very, very good 5-drop. It's the only 5-drop I have in this deck, and it fills a couple of different roles. So first off, it's a challenger. So it would obviously threaten your opponent's board. It has good attack. And then the second thing that it does is it's a last breath unit. So it refills your hand. It will give you an elite after it dies. And a lot of different cards can come out of this card, because there's a ton of different elite cards. It's only going to give you non-champion elite. It doesn't say that here, but it's only going to give you followers. Now, the thing is, it could give you, because of all the new elite cards, there's a couple of different good targets here, like Captain Erika, that's one. But one of the new cards that it could give you is King Jarvan III, and that's really, really good. That's why I did not bother to include him in this deck, because we could actually get him from Swift Wing Lancer. I should create a deck list for this, right? If this does well, and put it on Mobalytics. So you guys can probably have fun with it too. This is a pretty good starting hand here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the Sonic Wave. That's a pretty useful card to have right now. So I'm not sure how the opponent built this deck. It's probably gonna be an aggro deck. If I draw the right tools at the beginning of my draws, I'm probably gonna be able to take control of this match, because I have faced Azir Lucian combos, and what I love about this deck is it threatens Lucian consistently because of all the challenges you have and the barrier. So we're probably gonna let that attack. Okay, he didn't attack, so that's a pretty easy play for us. Okay. Huh.
We must all do our duty.
So it's probably not gonna play his other units right now, unless it's Azir, because I can't really kill Azir. I'll be more than glad to trade this for this, because if he attacks with this, I can't block with my Penitent Squire anyway, so it's best to just attack. Okay. That's a pretty expensive spell. I'm glad he used that. Huh. Okay. Let's see if he attacks with Azir here. Or maybe not. Let's just play Vanguard Cavalry. Okay. So I'm just gonna block Azir with this guy. Alright. So he's gonna attack it with Azir. Okay. No problem. I'm just gonna block like this. How do you want to do this, sir? How do you want to do this? Okay. So looks like we're gonna block like this, because I can challenge Azir later with this. We're gonna block like this. It's a pretty good block. We're gonna kill Azir next turn. Okay, we're not gonna play Shen. We really want to kill Azir this turn, so we're gonna do this instead. And I don't really mind not playing this right now, because I'll be conserving 3 mana anyways, and this is not lethal, so there's no point in pushing this.
If it's made of sand,
That's fine.
I can rise it.
I'll probably just play Shen next turn, and we can protect him with Riposte if in case the opponent has anything sketchy to play. If he decides to develop here,
No one's the wiser.
actually I might not need to play Riposte here. Yeah, let's just go like this. And then play Shen after. You see the strategy here? So next turn we're gonna be attacking with Jarvan, so I could probably opt to not block one of this. But it's kind of too valuable not to block here.
No honor in this.
I have urgent news.
This is pretty good. Okay, I guess. He has 1 card in hand.
Damn it.
Not a very good sign.
The eye of twilight sees all.
And next turn, we win. I don't even have to use my... Okay. 2-0, guys.
Everything as it should be.
2-0. Looking good. Alright. We got a reward too. Oh no, we didn't. Okay, I thought we got a reward there. So, let's play another game. Doing pretty well. The decks that I am having trouble the most, however, playing this deck are, I guess, Freljord decks. decks, especially the Lissandra decks, if I don't develop, or if I don't get the right tools, especially denies and notifies, I end up getting overpowered, especially if it reaches like the very late games. So this is a pretty good turn 1 play. We're gonna open attack here. Really no reason to not to.
We mustn't stop.
It's a turn 3 plaza because it's gonna be the opponent's attack turn. Then we could either choose from River Shaper or Redeemer, but it's probably gonna be a River Shaper turn. Ooh, Dragon Chow. Hopefully we get some good 2-drops here. That's the reason why I didn't really include a lot of 2-drops. Okay, that's pretty awesome.
We swim within the flows of magic.
He's probably gonna summon a dragon now, right? I don't really mind. Or is he gonna summon Kindred here?
The dragon's rage crawls
Okay.
to get out.
I'd probably do this instead. Because I have no targets for this guy anyway.
Moving.
Concerted strike? Oh, okay. Single combat. That's pretty good.
What form will the waters take? The waters are still.
I mean, he could have done the opposite if I boosted what's his name? River Shaper there. He could have gone the opposite way. And it would have been the same.
They appeared out of nowhere.
I wonder why he's not developing though. Okay. We're just gonna go with this guy. We could riposte if he plays a big unit here. I have deny in case he tries for a ruination.
Another day guarding the walls.
We mustn't stop.
Okay.
Another lost.
I really think he has ruination here. And is just poising to use it. He's trying to bait us into playing more units. Or to topping out under deny.
Embrace life.
Okay.
Expect death.
Don't care. We're just gonna open attack with Jarvan next turn. I really want the Vanguard Redeemer's ability, so I don't want to develop her yet. And he's scared to attack here. We're gonna riposte here. Probably Glimpse Beyond? No? Interesting. I do want to save the deny for a ruination or anything like that. So we're probably just gonna go like this. So we have 7 damage. Okay. Shen's a pretty good play here.
The eye of twilight.
He has 8 mana, so we're safe from Ruination. Riposte or Deny could protect us from potential threats. And if we really can't protect any of your units or some units, we can Vanguard Redeemer for a potential draw. So you really want to hold off on Jarvan as much as you can, so that you can surprise your enemies with a lethal open attack, or just get rid of big threats. Because his barrier is really, really good.
So I go.
Moving.
Vengeance would be okay. We could just deny that. Or if he targets this with Vengeance, I could probably just let him do it and then just Vanguard Redeemer and draw a card. But not Shen. Not Shen, boy. Okay, he's probably sitting on the Ruination now. And if it doesn't play it, I'm just gonna pass. That's an obvious play here. Okay. Dragon Chow. Okay. He can't play any dragons though. He's out of mana. If he attacks, it's an easy riposte. Oh, okay. That was interesting. But this is worthless. You could just kill that. I don't care. So Vengeance isn't that much of a threat now. We're just gonna go for an open attack and kill that with Jarvan. We could push for lethal with Riposte, and yeah, we just win the game here. GG. GG. Pretty good.
Raise our banners. Demacia prevails.
3-0, guys. 3-0.